What's the worst way a coworker has ever stolen credit for your work? I'd been at the same mid-sized accounting firm for 3 years when Michelle joined our department. He was charming, politically sharp, and had the kind of easy confidence that impresses senior management inside the first 5 minutes of a meeting. But here's what I noticed from day one. He watched people far more than he talked to them. I told myself that was just how some people listened. I was wrong. Our team was struggling last spring. Client retention numbers were slipping, and our director Helen had made it clear in a tense all-hands meeting that whoever turned things around would be first in line for the senior associate position opening in Q3. I wanted that promotion badly. I'd been passed over once before. I wasn't letting it happen again. So I built something. A client feedback system. Nothing flashy, just a short follow-up email after each completed engagement with 3 specific questions that actually measured satisfaction instead of the usual meaningless "how did we do?" I tracked every response in a spreadsheet and started finding patterns in complaints nobody had ever directly asked about before. Communication delays, clients feeling invisible unless they chased us first, small problems, completely fixable ones. I told Michelle about it over lunch. He asked smart questions, leaned in. I went into detail because I was genuinely excited, and in that moment he felt like a colleague, maybe even a friend. 3 weeks later, Helen pulled him into her office for 40 minutes. I didn't think anything of it until our Thursday team meeting, when Michelle stood up and presented my entire system, rebranded, slightly reworded, his name on every single slide, the feedback categories, the tracking method, even a specific phrase I had invented sitting at my kitchen table at 11 at night, closing the silence gap. I sat completely still. I didn't speak because I didn't trust myself to do it without burning everything down in front of everyone. Helen praised him in front of the whole team. He smiled like a man who had built something from nothing. That night I went home and opened my laptop. I pulled every email where I mentioned the system, the original spreadsheet timestamp, a draft I'd sent to myself weeks before Michelle ever walked through our office doors. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do with it yet, but I needed the record to exist, and I kept running the system, quietly, on my own accounts. Response rates climbed. 2 clients sent unsolicited emails to Helen directly praising the follow-up process. She forwarded them to the team without a single word of comment. Then David Park happened. David was our firm's largest regional account. He requested a check-in, and Helen brought both Michelle and me. David started talking about how much the communication had improved, pulled up one of the follow-up emails on his laptop to show Helen directly. Michelle began explaining the system. Smooth, confident, completely in control. David interrupted him, politely, clearly. "Actually," he said, "I've been corresponding with her." He nodded toward me. "She reached out personally after each of our last 3 engagements." I'd been meaning to mention it to someone. The room went quiet. Helen looked at me, then at Michelle, then at the spreadsheet filling David's screen. My original formatting, my exact column headers, unchanged. She didn't say a word in that meeting. 2 days later, she asked me to walk her through my process from the beginning. I brought every document. She reviewed everything without expression, thanked me quietly, and told me to give her a few days. Michelle was moved to a different team the following Monday. No announcement, no explanation offered to the rest of us. He was simply gone from our floor. Helen called me in on Wednesday. The senior associate position was mine if I wanted it. Then she paused and said something I turned over in my mind almost every day since. I should have asked more questions sooner. That's on me. I took the promotion. I rebuilt the system properly. Full documentation, 3 junior staff trained, everything formalized so no single person could ever quietly claim it again. 6 months later, Michelle sent me a LinkedIn connection request. His message was 4 words. Congrats on the move. I accepted. I never replied. Some things don't need a response. The record was always going to speak for itself.